You're listening to The Other 50%, a herstory of Hollywood. I'm Julie Harris Walker. This is the podcast where I talk to successful women in entertainment and hear their stories. For this episode, I got to speak with Melissa Vitello. Melissa is a filmmaker whose film Speak Now is available on Amazon Prime, and which I happened to have watched a few weeks before this interview, although I didn't put it together until we were in the room. You can find us at theother50%.com for added features, photos, show notes, and the merchandise. Please go to the website and sign up if you haven't already. You can also listen on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podbay, and now on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. Okay, here's my conversation with Melissa. Have a listen. Here's how we do.
Okay.
What do you do?
I write and direct. I have, the past year we did our second feature film. And when I say our, I usually mean me and my husband. Mm-hmm. So my husband's a DP. He also does some writing and directing with me as well.
Handy.
Yeah, it's handy. He's literally the other half of why we can accomplish all the things we do.
That's great.
Yeah, it's really fun. We love working together.
So take me all the way back. When you were a kid, what did you think you were going to do?
Everything. I went from wanting to be a ballerina to a doctor to a tornado chaser after I saw Twister. That I got really into tornadoes for a while. Like I researched.
Like, did you pursue that a little bit?
Well, I mean, I was like 10, so like I spent hours on the internet reading about tornadoes, which is probably more than I should have done. But
hey, it's science.
It's science. I got to learn all about tornadoes. I always had a thing for writing ever since I was really little. I used to write stories. My aunt worked in the industry, and she used to actually send me scripts because she used to get scripts come across her desk all the time.
Oh, cool. What'd your aunt do?
She worked for a prominent production company, yeah, and she also worked for HBO. So she used to send me scripts all the time because I loved reading scripts, and I learned how to write screenplays that way. I would just read scripts all the time.
Oh. So you figured out format and structure and story?
Yeah, pretty much through that. I was actually homeschooled, so I had a lot of extra free time, too, to sit down and practice and write, and I just loved it. I loved writing, and I always had stories, and I was kind of a bored kid sometimes, so I used to read her screenplays that she would send and then send my entire family reviews of what I thought of the screenplays.
You were doing coverage on your screenplays?
I was doing coverage on her screenplays.
Now, were you homeschooled all the way through?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you go to college?
I did for a little bit, yeah. I came down and I actually did a film program here in LA.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was fun. So I used to write a lot, and that always was kind of, I think, the core of my being. Like, I always sort of knew that writing was what I loved doing. It came naturally to me. But I was also, like, very, very, ADD about what I wanted to pursue growing up. I always thought everything was so interesting, and I wanted to learn all about it. And I got into ballet for a while, and I wanted to be a prima ballerina. And it's funny because now thinking about it, everything that I really wanted to be came from movies that I was obsessed with. I wanted to be just like these characters that I loved, and I think eventually like that kind of formed into, well, I just love filmmaking. I'm just going to write about all these characters and create them.
And this is why it's so powerful, because you see things on screen and it opens your mind to what you could be with your life.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I love that about filmmaking. I love that stories can shape the way we think and shape, really it shapes a lot of things. It shapes our trends and cultures in society when you really look at it, and it has such a powerful influence. And I think I've always had a drive to be a part of that influence and say something good and something powerful and something worth saying. And, I always have a lot of opinions. I just want to put my opinions out there, I guess.
And why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not? So I moved to LA. I always loved LA. Like, ever since I was a kid, we would come down. I grew up in Humboldt County, which is like the very top of California. It's way up there. And we used to come down to Los Angeles to visit. My parents grew up in LA, so all of my grandparents and aunts and uncles are here. And we would come down and visit them. And ever since I was a kid, I just felt like LA was my home, and I belonged
Also, did
here.
That make it easier to move since you had all that family here?
It did, actually. When I moved down about 13 years ago now.
It goes so fast.
It goes fast. I actually moved down in with my grandma, and I lived with her for a while I went to school.
That's great. And where'd you meet your husband?
Online.
Really?
I did. Yeah, I met him on OkCupid.
That actually works, huh?
It does. It does. It does. Yeah, it was funny, actually. He had messaged me a first time that I don't remember. Apparently, he sent me an email, and I wrote him back and don't remember it. And then a couple months later, I got a message from him again saying, hey, I know we talked before. And I was like, who are you? And he was like, but I really wanted to know if we could get coffee or something. And I was like looking through his profile, and I was like, I don't remember him. He's cute.
He knew.
And so I was like, sure, yeah. And we got together, and we got coffee, and we walked around the Americana all night long, and we were pretty much together.
That was it?
The next day. Yeah, we really never spent another day apart.
Oh my God, how long have you been married?
We've been married coming up on 3 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Thanks.
And you had so much in common.
We did, yeah. He was into movies. He actually, I think I had put on my profile that I had my own film company because I had like a film crew, and we used to make short films together. And I think he didn't believe me. I think he emailed me, and he was like,
"Yeah, LA girl, whatever."
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone has a film company.
He was like, everybody's making movies. What do you really do? And I was like, no, I really make movies. But then we got together, and we started writing stuff, working on stuff, shooting stuff together, and it works. It worked out well, and we love it.
Okay, so how did you start making independent features?
Yes, so we started that. When did that start? So we had this script, I think about 2 or 3 years ago now. It was shortly after we had gotten together, and I was telling him, we were talking to some different friends, and I was talking to some friends about some similar crazy bachelorette stories we had, just like gone wrong bachelorette parties. And I was telling my husband about a particular story of mine, and he was like, you should write these stories, like this would be a fun movie. So we started kind of picking at it together, and we had the script, and then I actually had a theater director pick it up and produce it as a play. And that was really fun because we got to actually see our work up on stage, and see like what worked and what didn't work. And we took it after that and developed it into the script, and that was our first feature. And we shot that just a little over 2 years ago, I think. Now.
What's that called?
Speak Now. And that's on Amazon Prime now, as of now.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the bachelorette story?
It was...
I don't want
to tell... So the movie is about a group of girls who get together, and they've been friends since high school, and their high school best friend is getting married, so they're all kind of reuniting to throw her a bachelorette party. And then midway through the party, and the bride is like this kind of crazy, super like Regina George kind of, teen queen, has been teen queen. Mm-hmm. And they find out halfway through the bachelorette party that she's actually having an affair with somebody else. And then they end up getting into arguments and pretty much staying up all night trying to figure out how they're going to move forward with the wedding and their friendships.
I watched this movie.
You did?
I did!
Oh, no way! And
they spend most of the night in the apartment?
Yeah.
And she's having an affair with...
a bartender.
Yes!
Really? That's so funny.
Yes,
I'm glad it's getting around.
I saw it. Because I went through, I think I went through one of those lists on Facebook that are like, here are all the rom-coms you should be watching. I don't know. I watched it in the last 2 months.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, how fun.
That's great. Well, good. I'm glad like other people are watching it besides my mom.
No, it was great.
Yeah, it was fun. It's just a fun little, it was a fun little girls' night movie.
And they have the one friend who, they don't know why they're friends with her, but she's always tagging along.
There was one, the sister of the groom.
Yes, the sister of the groom.
Who's like, pretty immature. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was great. Oh, how fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Okay, how'd you get it on Amazon Prime?
So we did the festival circuit. We got into some really great festivals around here in LA, and that was a lot of fun. And then I actually had another friend who his movie got on Amazon Prime through this distribution company called Indie Rights. And I reached out to them just to say hello. I have this movie. It's in festivals right now. And I mentioned that we were currently at the Pasadena Film Festival. And one of the women who runs Indie Rights actually reached back, and she was like, actually, I'm doing a panel at the Pasadena Film Festival. Come say hello. So we connected that way, and she loves the Pasadena Film Festival and anything that goes there. So she was like, well, definitely. want you. So
Fantastic.
yeah, so it worked out really well, actually.
How did you raise the money to make the film?
So we partially funded it ourselves, and then we actually did a Kickstarter after the movie was filmed.
For post?
For post, yeah, for post, and we raised the money to, so most of the actors were deferred, but we actually raised the money to be able to pay them most of their payments afterwards, too.
Great.
Yeah. So it was kind of like we just wanted to get it done, and then we did the Kickstarter, which was really, really tough. But we did it, and it was great. I don't know if I'd do a Kickstarter again, but
yeah, here's a full-time job.
It is a full-time. It is literally a full-time job. Like every day, you have to sit down for 8 hours a day, just emailing people and advertising and being on social media. It's crazy.
Okay, so what'd you do next?
So after that, we wrapped that, and that got distribution. And then my husband had been working on this other script for a long time, like since I met him. He's been working on this story, and then we decided to pick that up next and start going through that script together. And we worked on that script for probably a year or two, and then we just shot that one this past summer, and that's called The Sound of Settling. And that one is about...
What's that about?
that one, we had a lot of fun shooting this one. It was a little bit more ambitious, and so I'm kind of excited about it. I mean, I am excited about it.
Kind of. It's okay.
No, it's all right. I'm advertising so poorly.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. It's going to be an amazing movie. It's about a couple that have been together for a really long time, and their relationship has become really stagnant. So in that way, it's kind of just a drama about their relationship sort of falling apart. But the element that we added into it that I think is going to be really cool is that it's set maybe a couple years into the future, and there's this new trendy app called iSee. And it's kind of a crystal ball app where it actually
let's put that in the market.
And it connects to everything online about you, which is everything these days.
Yeah.
So it's like your social media, any records you have online, like it just connects to everything, and it tracks you, and then it makes future predictions, like the most likely outcomes of the future. And it starts to predict that her relationship is going to end soon. And so it kind of puts her in a place of, well, is this true? Do I listen to a machine, or
you still have choice in your life?
Still have choice in your life, yeah. Or do I actually still love him, and do I want to save this relationship? It kind of just forces them to be realistic about their relationship and whether or not they actually still belong together.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So when you work together, you're directing, he's the DP, and you're both writing?
We do a little bit of each. So we actually, for this one, he did DP it. And I directed a lot on set, but he did a lot of the directing during rehearsals. We got kind of on a page where it didn't matter whether it was me saying something or him saying something. We were both very on the same page with the characters. We spent a lot of time reading through the script and really dissecting the characters and really making sure that we both understood, we knew what we wanted out of it. So in that way, we both kind of co-directed. But on set, I was a little bit more like in it, while he was in like making the picture look amazing.
I think this is kind of unique that you can do this as a couple and not kill each other.
I mean, we have our moments. It's not all fun and games.
How do you work out when you have conflict artistically?
That's a good question. We definitely have.
Let's just get right in there.
Yeah, right. We have definitely had moments where we've just had to set it down and just not talk about it anymore.
We're home now, we're going to watch TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Eat some dinner.
Or we start talking about it, and it just we both become very passionate about what we're going to do, and we both get very involved, which means both of our opinions become a lot bigger, and that does cause conflict with both of us. So usually what ends up happening is we start to get into an argument and then decide we can't talk about this anymore because it's just not being productive.
Yeah.
So we'll just put it away and let things sort of simmer for a while. And usually when we come back around to discussing it again, he'll talk about why he wants one thing this way and why I want one thing this way. And we usually can end up coming to an agreement somewhere in there. We also kind of establish the rule of when it's his movie, like when he wrote it, which he mainly wrote this last one, he got 51% decisions and I got 49%, and it was the reverse when we did Speak Now, because I mostly wrote.
That seems fair.
Yeah, so like when it came down to it and we just didn't agree on something, he just got to make the call.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
do you ever shoot it both ways? Or am I thinking really simplistically of what the conflict is?
There's been times we've shot it both ways. I think when it has really come down to it, it's funny, it kind of works itself out, because if it doesn't work, like sometimes he'll take the 51% and be like, no, we're doing it this way, and it works, and I'm like, oh, you were right, or the opposite, and we'll shoot it, and he'll be like, oh, it didn't work, you're right, let's do it the other way. So it all ends up smoothing out in the end. It
all works out at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you can both say when the other person was right.
Yeah, I think so. I can't really think of anything that we've shot right now that I'm like, God, I wish we didn't shoot that.
That turned out terrible.
That was such a bad decision.
That's good. So that movie is in the can, did you say?
Yeah, we're actually doing reshoots towards the middle of February.
How'd you raise the money for that one?
We actually had a few small investors come in, mostly people that we knew who decided to support it, and then we raised some of the money ourselves too. It was definitely on a shoestring budget, but we pulled together a little bit more of a budget this time for this one.
That's great. So you're amassing this body of work.
Yeah.
What's the big goal?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. I feel like
I know.
You asked the big questions. Well, I think right now, so we usually we like to write 5-year plans, and we just completed our last one, so we just wrote up a new 5-year plan. I think our next big goal is to be independently working on media, and be I think our biggest goal on our list right now is to make a movie with $1 million or more budget. So that's kind of our goal right now. So right now I'm learning a lot about investing or investors, and trying to get my work out there to a little bit of a higher level. We really just we just really kind of want to be independent filmmakers and making movies that actually like pay us back. I guess, I don't know, it's the easiest way to say it.
It's so funny, as an independent filmmaker, you really have to learn investment, running a company, payroll. Like, you have to learn all the things about the business. Yeah. Or wouldn't it be nice if you could show up on set and direct?
Oh man,
what a relief that would be.
Great. I don't think I've ever done that. That sounds great.
You have to learn all of it, and then distribution also. Yeah, it's craziness, but it is. What an education.
Yeah, I mean, I love learning about it. It's it's definitely frustrating at times, and there's a lot to it, and sometimes it's different every time. Sometimes working with putting together a budget, or working with SAG and getting all that stuff together, like it's always different. It's never sometimes the same thing. Yeah.
But now you can do anything.
Yeah.
Like, what can't you figure out?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I guess so.
Tell me about your day jobs.
So we have a wedding photography business. That's kind of our main bread and butter. So usually during the week, that's what I'm working on, is wedding photography, which is really fun because it's also still in the creative field, and we love being able to work with brides, and
it's the happiest day of their life.
It's the happiest day of their life sometimes.
So far, fingers crossed.
Yeah, most of the time it's the happiest day of their life. No, it's really great. And it's almost, I mean, shooting a wedding is almost like shooting a movie. It's a full
it is a
long
movie.
Day. It is. And there's, things go wrong, and you just have to deal with it as it comes and be where you need to be at the right time. So it's fun. We like doing that. So we have our wedding photography business. We do a lot of other sort of photography on the side. Brian has been actually picking up a few other small DP things. So he's trying to do more music videos and corporate shoots and things like that. So we try to stay in the realm of photography and film.
Yeah.
And then I also do a little bit of side producing for a reel company, which can be fun because I get to, when I'm not shooting a big thing, I kind of get to keep practicing by doing little mini shoots for actors and making little reel material things for them.
Okay, when you said reel company, did you mean REEL?
REEL, yes, sorry.
Because I was like, your company's real.
Sorry, yeah. Yes, a actor's reel company.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yes.
What's the name of your company?
The photography, it's called Looking Glass.
And what's the name of your film company?
The film company, actually, we still go by Looking Glass when we do films. We have Looking Glass. We usually do Looking Glass Photo and Video is what our photography company kind of goes by. The website is lookingglassphotoandvideo.com. But when we do movies, it's Looking Glass Media.
Okay. Do you have any crazy wedding stories?
I don't feel like I have like an insane story.
Any videos of the groom falling into the cake? Like any of that?
Oh, I wish. That would be great. I don't think we have anything like that. There's your, typical like drunk guests on the dance floor who get obnoxious. I don't think I have anything like super crazy.
I guess that's good for the brides you've been dealing with.
Right, yeah. I think it all just kind of is normal to me now because it's always stressful when you get there. The bride is always a little stressed out. Usually up until the ceremony's over, the bride is stressed out. It tends to be the most stressful part of the day. When family portrait time comes around, it's just a cluster. It's trying to herd 50 family members into one spot and make them stay there is a challenge.
And not knowing their inner conflicts and who wants to stand by who.
Yeah, exactly. So that's probably my most challenging part of the day and the bride's most stressful part of the day. And I always tell them that up front too when we're shooting a wedding. I'm always like, no, I know you're stressed out, but once the family portraits are done, you're going to be fine.
You're home free.
You're home free.
Then you get to drink your champagne and go dance. That is fun. Okay, what are you kind of making of the landscape right now with the explosion of Me Too and Time's Up and the non-stop chatter we're seeing on social media and everywhere, really?
What am I making of it?
What are you making of the state of women in the country and in our business right now?
Part of me, I think it's wonderful that women are standing up, and I think it's great that women are coming forward, and it's really beautiful to see just the overall female foot coming down and saying, no more of this.
The female foot coming down.
I don't know how to say it.
We're putting our foot down.
In general, all the foot of all the women around the world just being like, we are not doing this anymore. I think it's really great. I think it's super powerful. I think this past year has been a really amazing year for women. Just looking at the Golden Globes and... how
about that Oprah speech?
That
Holy
Oprah
cow.
speech. I know. It was amazing. It was funny because I didn't get to actually watch the Golden Globes, and then I got on Facebook, and everything was Oprah, Oprah, Oprah. And I was like, what just happened? And so I immediately looked it up.
Oprah just exploded the internet.
Oprah just exploded the internet. So I think it's really amazing, and I think, like, from what I'm seeing, I think this is a step that's actually going somewhere. Like, I do see some movement. I see...
It does feel different, doesn't it?
It feels different, and I love it, because if you're a woman in film, it's like the place to be right now. There's amazing things happening on TV. You have Big Little Lies and The Handmaid's Tale and all these super powerful stories coming out.
Oh my God, The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh man, I ate that up.
And when's it coming back?
It actually is supposed to come back, I think, this summer.
Okay, all right.
It's too long.
Set your timers.
Yeah, I know. That and Big Little Lies both. I'm just like, when is it coming back? I'm seeing a lot more, I guess maybe in my realm, in like the indie world, I see a lot more support. And then you have Greta Gerwig, who's getting a lot of buzz right now for Lady Bird.
How
which
great was
so
Lady
beautiful,
Bird?
so beautiful.
And what a tragedy that she wasn't nominated for Golden Globe. Best Picture and Best Actress?
I know.
Like she had nothing to do with it?
I know. I mean, I guess it's a good enough success. Like she is the most talked about female director right now.
She's doing all right.
She's doing all right. And I'm really happy about that. Yeah, still not happy about that, but I'm really happy that she is being so talked about.
Yeah.
So I think there's some positive movement, and that's really exciting for me to see. Like, things are changing, and more women are coming up in the industry and being recognized and being supported. And I think that's really great. So I think slowly but surely we're moving in the right direction.
It is exciting times.
It is exciting times.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm pumped. I'm going to the march tomorrow with
me
some friends.
too.
Yeah. We got together and had a wine and sign making night. It was super fun.
Oh, what are some of your slogans?
Let's see. We have, so my sign says, so the next generation doesn't have to say me too. One of my friends, she's actually a really awesome artist. She wrote like this whole great little unicorn on her sign that says "Impale the Patriarchy." Super cute. And then one of my other friends did a sign that says "Equality for All," and then just lists beliefs, races, everything down, and then just at the bottom it has a big and all colorful people.
All the things we shouldn't have to be fighting for anymore.
All the things we shouldn't have to be fighting for, right?
Yeah, it's really unbelievable.
I know.
That we are.
I know. But in this day and age, I love looking back at some of the signs from the march last year, especially the ones where the women... Did you see the pictures of the women dressed as suffragettes? And they're holding signs that say, "We came back in time for this." I was like, that's it. That's it.
I love, like, the really old ladies. Like, I can't believe I'm still protesting this shit.
Oh, yeah. I know. Those are great. Those are awesome.
Like, hopefully it's enough already.
I know. You would think.
You gotta think.
Yeah. I hope.
And who would have thought, like, a year ago, like, so much has happened? Like, who knew we'd be here now when we did the march last year? I know. And sometimes I feel like it does feel like, you know, I get into a place when I watch the news and I see these things happening and it just feels so hopeless, like we're not doing anything. But then when you do stop and you look at the things that have been accomplished, it is encouraging to see that things are changing. It's just not in the biggest light that we'd like to see. I just think the conversation has changed so much that now we're talking about the subtleties of interactions while dating and how meaningful that is. Yeah. Like, wow.
Yeah. We were having a conversation with some friends about it a while ago and how it's very, like, all these things are coming out and it's so great. It feels very messy. Like, everything is just exploding. Everything's a mess. But we were talking about how it, you know, in order for there to be change, there has to be a mess first, and then you can clean it up. And so
let's throw it all on the table. Pick through it.
Yeah. And then let's sort it out and keep it there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think, it's funny, I used to ask this all the time. The question is, what do you think the next steps are for women? And it used to feel like that was a bigger question, and now that things are changing so fast, it's like, what do you think the next steps are today?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing right now is for women to continue to support each other, too. Because I think there are still women who are afraid to put their foot forward and stand up for themselves or stand up in the industry or pursue what they want because they've been put down by, you know, whatever stereotype they've been put into. And there are women who are, like, on board with this and charging forward, and you know, they're stepping on with the change in the industry and the change for women and everything around it. And I think it's important also for those women who are charging forward to grab the hands of those behind them who are still afraid and pull them forward with them, because there's still so much out there. There's still so many out there who do need to stand up and take a step forward and challenge themselves and not be afraid anymore, and, you know, stick up for all the change that's happening and step out. And I think that is probably the most important thing we can do right now, is continue doing what we're doing if we're, you know, women who are leading forward, but also bring people with us and encourage others to move forward. There's so much talent out there, and there's so many amazing women out there, and they need to be heard too.
For sure. And I've never seen so much female support.
Yeah.
Really. Like, that whole stereotype of women being at each other's throats. Like, it's not true.
It's not true. Yeah. Yeah. I don't like that stereotype.
The sisterhood is rising.
It is rising. And I think that if there are women who are, or were, you know, women who are at each other's throats, I think it's, you know, it's only out there because of the stereotype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And scarcity.
Yeah.
You think there's one job and there's 1,000 women going for it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not true.
We have to make that just not the case.
It's not the case. Not the case.
Are you a success?
Am I a success? Mm-hmm. I think I'm a success.
Beautifully answered. Are you a badass?
Yeah.
Good.
Every day.
Every day. Every day. What advice do you have for people who are just starting out?
Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just go forward and do it. I mean, it's really hard, and I feel like there are all these rules around everything that people feel like they need to follow. But if you have a story to tell, I mean, everybody wants to be a part of telling a story, and you just have to push forward and find a way to make it happen. Find whatever it is that you want to do. There's so many groups out there. This is what I love. I mean, this is one thing I do love about social media. There are so many groups out there. There's so many support groups. So many women in film Facebook groups. I can't even keep track of them anymore. There's so many of them. Just put your name out there. Put it out there. Put your story out there. Somebody will grab on and help you. And it goes back to just what we were talking about. Just the sisterhood is rising, and there's so much support that is coming up right now that's all around us. Just throw your voice out there and say something and say, hey, I want to do this, or I have this idea, or I want to be a part of this. Jump onto other people's film sets and do anything for them. I just met with this younger girl a little while ago who is coming out of film school, and she was like, I want to do anything. Anytime you have a shoot, just call me. I'll do anything.
That's the attitude.
And that's the attitude. Yeah, you have to just go for it and take what you can get and just learn and absorb and ask questions. And then just make things happen. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. I don't know. That's my answer. That's all. Good. I don't know. I don't really know what the formula was. I can't even say how I made things happen in the past. They just sort of came together.
You just did it.
I just did it.
Now, you mentioned all the women's groups, and doing this podcast, I've learned of 20 women's groups I never knew of before. Are you... which ones are you involved in? Are there more I don't know about?
The one that I'm involved in right now that I think is one of the best ones, because it's still kind of small, and it seems to be really supportive, and there's some really strong women involved in it. But it's actually just an email thread called WIMPs.
Oh, yeah, I'm in that.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Women in Motion Pictures, or Women in Moving Pictures.
Women in...
I think it's Women in Moving Pictures.
Something like that.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
And I like the one
and that's by referral, right? So if
it's by referral.
You pull someone in and introduce them to the group.
Yeah, exactly. There's been a couple other ones on Facebook. There's a ton. I feel like I just click join on all these groups all the time, and I don't really even know
whichever ones they recommend.
Yeah, right.
join.
Whatever my friends are in, I'm like, oh, I should be in that too.
Yeah.
So I don't even know really what I'm a part of anymore.
So get out there and meet people.
Get out there and meet people. Yeah, it's a really good thing to do. And we did actually, I think, the most networking when we were in festivals, because we got to go to a lot of the after parties and meet a lot of the other filmmakers, and that was so much fun, because you're all celebrating something together. So everybody's in just this great mood, and you're all just having a drink together and talking about what you're doing and what you're doing next. And I made a lot of connections that way, actually. Even if you're not in a film festival, just go to film festival parties.
Just go.
They're so fun. Everybody's so happy.
That's so good. Okay, what have we not talked about that you wanted to talk about?
Let's see. I guess I have some productions coming up. So we have our movie in post right now, which we are going to try to get to festivals this year, but depending on post.
And the name of it?
It's The Sound of Settling.
The Sound of Settling.
Sound of Settling is in post right now. We're hoping to get that out to festivals by maybe this summer. It's looking good, but we'll see. I know my husband gets super picky when he gets into editing, so we'll see.
It could take some time.
It could take some time. We'll see about that. We helped, actually assistant directed and helped associate produce a short film called Heartless, which is just coming out into festivals now, and that one's going to be super fun. It's just a super. It's actually
what's that about?
It's kind of a modern spin off of The Telltale Heart.
Oh,
and it's just about this girl who goes psycho and kills her boss, and it's super fun and bloody.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, so that one's coming around to festivals.
I think a lot of people have that fantasy.
Well, go see this one then. And that has actually has a cool little twist on sexism in the workplace too. So I think that'll be fun to have around for festivals. We have another short we also helped shoot with some friends last year called Recovery, and that one I think that's in post. I think that's going to be coming out later this year too. I'm actually directing a fringe play So this June, I'll have a play in the Fringe. I'm super excited about it.
What's that called?
It's called Spaceman.
And what's that about?
It's about a hurricane, and there's a woman who lives with her mother and her 15-year-old daughter. Her husband's passed away earlier. They find a man who was like in the shores outside drowning, and they take him in and start taking care of him. And as they're nursing him back to health, he starts to come around and claim that he isn't supposed to be there because he's from the future.
Excellent.
Yes, and while she's also falling for him, trying to figure out if he's crazy or not. Fun. It's fun. I'm excited about it. Yeah, and that's I think what we're working on this year. Mainly
That's a lot.
Future. It's a lot. Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, that's all.
That's it. Just 3 films and a play.
No, it's a lot, and it's exhausting, and I'm excited about all of it.
But you're in it. You're having an artistic life.
Yeah, it's fun. We have a good time.
That's good. How do people find you?
I'm on Facebook. You can find Dark Heart Pictures on Facebook. It's where we post a lot of stuff about our movies. My Instagram is Francesca Photo, @Francesca Photo. You can find me on Instagram there. On Twitter, I am Dark Heart Writer, which is the name of... so Dark Heart was the original film company that I started before I met my husband. We include Dark Heart in some of our... it's usually Looking Glass Media in association with Dark Heart.
Yeah, Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
I'll say. You've been listening to The Other 50%, a herstory of Hollywood. I'm Julie Harris Walker. I'd like to thank Melissa Vitello for sharing her story, and special thanks to Jay Rowe, Danny Rosner, and Allison McQuaid for the music. Please find us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Podbay, iHeartRadio, and YouTube, and subscribe and leave a review, and of course on our website, theother50%.com, all spelled out in letters, for added features, bios of our guests, pictures, and the merchandise. Please go there right now and subscribe. You can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter @Other50% and Instagram @Other50% Podcast. Thanks for listening. See you next time.